So, hello everyone. Welcome to PLM Nordic. My name is Shreya and I am the marketing lead at PLM Nordic. Today, we are presenting a webinar on how to increase sales using PLM. Product lifecycle management, the technology, has evolved over the years, but it's still not essential to run a business. The pandemic has forced us to be more digital and efficient. A common question is how PLM is useful for the sales and ROI of any business. Our presenter, Mr. Angad Sorte, will answer this very question today. Mr. Angad is a PLM enthusiast who worked as a business lead and PLM consultant for the last 16 plus years in many global organizations across different countries before starting PLM Nordic with a goal to bring out the real value out of PLM. Before we start, at any point in the presentations, if there are any questions, please feel free to type them in the Q&A message box. We will take them up at the end of the presentation. So hope you enjoy the webinar today. And now handing over to Mr. Angad.
Thanks, Shreya. Can you hear me properly? Shreya,
Yes,
can you hear
yes,
me?
yes, sir. Yes.
Okay. Thank you. Thank you everyone for joining this webinar, How to Increase Sales Using PLM. When it comes to sales, we immediately try to think that it could be necessary for sales department or salesperson to be interested in this topic. But if we see the best selling products, for example, Apple or Tesla, it's not because of the efficient sales, it's because of the product itself that they are the best selling products in the market. So what makes them best selling? What goes into making that brand? What goes into in sustaining that brand over a period of time? And how product lifecycle management itself is the core for it. That's what we are going to see today. Before that, let me introduce briefly who we are. So PLM Nordic purely specializes on product lifecycle management, and we apply the latest technologies to get most of your PLM investment. We are based in Norway and India and have our consultants working in many different countries. We have been in your shoes and we understand the business, and we try to apply that business sense while delivering our services. That makes us unique. We take pride in our customer satisfaction as well as our employee happiness, and we try to make a balance. When it comes to services, then we support along the length and breadth of the PLM activities, whether it is new PLM implementation from scratch or enhancing your current environment or customization or putting new modules like service lifecycle management or product configurator or document management. We are also involved in research and development of innovative solutions. We have some of our solutions which are more smart and AI based support solutions, for example. Let's move on to the topic today. So I guess many of you already know what is PLM, but for the benefit of those who are new to it, let me introduce what is PLM. So I could take a simple analogy with the banking system. So earlier banks used to perform with paper and pen. Later on, computers came, so they started using computers, then Microsoft Office or Excel. But nowadays, nobody use banking a person, nobody use Excel or nobody use paper and pen, right? It's the digital transformation or digitization of that service that has happened, and it's mostly user driven because we want that instant service. We want to know if I take money out now from this machine or online or go to the bank, it should be immediately updated. There are compliances, there are usage has increased, consumer behavior has increased. So it has become increasingly impossible for the banking sector to operate without a proper banking software. Same applies to manufacturing and product companies, although it has not been like banking that it is absolutely essential. Still, small and medium scale companies are doing away without PLM, but after certain growth, it is also impossible for them to continue. So what is PLM? It's a collection of processes to efficiently manage product from birth to retirement. So basically, whenever we have an idea, we try to implement that idea into paper, then we might get some digital drawings, digital models, and then we can go into the manufacturing phase, and then we can have production plans, we can have NCRs, we can have non-conformances, we can have documentation, we can sell it to customer. So all these processes involve lot of data creation. It involves lot of people. It also involves lot of systems. It also involves creation of lot of processes. And when the company size increases, when the variety increases, when the complexity increases, it is not possible to do it manually. So PLM is a software system, of course, but it covers and it manages all these data processes and systems efficiently so that you can take your product to the next level. You can get most of your product, and you can avoid errors. You can do more cost efficient product. So that is all about PLM. It has lot of components or modules. For example, engineering might use it for data management, drawing management, part management. Manufacturing might use it for different purpose, like accessing the bill of materials, making the manufacturing bill of materials. Purchasing may access is for different perspective, like for example, accessing the drawings to suppliers and supplier collaboration. For example, service may use it in a different way. For example, maintaining the as maintained bombs, seeing what is at customers, servicing the customers, what is needed to do the service, what parts are needed, how to instructions install, etc. So different departments use the system in a different way, or they can use different modules of the system. It's a complete system. And these people, when they are working across departments, working across different processes, they need a single view. If they work in silos, this is a classic example. uh, Before a proper PDM PLM system, then you can use a lot of emails to exchange design data, exchange information about data. We can have vaults to, for example, to store CAD data or drawings, vaults, for example, changing the change records, vaults for having Excel bombs for manufacturing. There could be a lot of different systems involved, and then over a period of time, duplicates increases, time to find data increases, and then ultimately we are spending more time in data management, finding right data, doing the same mistakes again, and losing. So basically, PLM avoids that errors, and if you can see, it also covers some part of ERP. Because in ERP world, you might say, okay, invoicing, customer invoicing, or payroll or HR management systems are handled, but there is a lot of product data handled. We deal with the orders, we have to process the order, we need bill of materials, we need what to purchase. So there is a lot of overlap between PLM and ERP system also. And if that integration is proper, then we are avoiding a lot of errors. So that was brief about the PLM. This picture shows how different departments are required to cooperate with each other to make this machinery running faster. If there is a blockage or slow performance, then ultimately your company or your product is suffering. It's not one person or one department, it's the combined whole of it that will make the product successful. How does a PLM software look like? Uh, yeah, different softwares look like different, but traditionally they have different views for different departments also. This is one view where a designer can see bill of material. They can see what are the components, what are the names of those components, what are the item IDs for those components, what are the revision of that component. Again, this can be an engineering view. Manufacturing view can be a different. It can show how it is assembled. Service view can be different. It can show how it needs to be serviced, or chapter wise, for example, or manual wise. But essentially, it is a single software, and different people can access different areas of it according to their interest. They can configure their views as they need, and they can collaborate with each other without taking data in and out of the system. There is no duplication in the data, so we know who changed what, why this is revised, what is the intent behind it, what is the content in it, what is the impact of changing this, where it is used, what is the history, what are the relations. So we can take a lot of reports, manager level reports. So typical PLM software provide all the functionalities that a company needs to manage their product from birth to retirement. Again, it's very common to have ERP system in the company when you are in a small and medium scale, but there is no proper PLM system or PDM system. When it started, it's called PDM because essentially it's just the product data management without having all the departments in and interdepartmental processes. So when it evolves, then we can really call it a PLM. So essentially, what I would say in PLM, you have the recipe, what to make, how to make, what are the components. It's the origin, and ERP is like it's like processing that. It's just utilizing the recipe, but it is going at a tremendous speed. It has no brain. Nobody in manufacturing or on a shop floor will say, hey, this design is wrong. Designer has made a mistake unless it is not fitting, unless it is not a non-conformant. But he is not going to comment that this material is wrong or this design is wrong because they don't have time for it. It's a released design for them, and they are more interested in making it more efficient and how fast they can take it out of the factory, how efficiently they can do, how to reduce cost on their production. But if the recipe is wrong, if you are putting more material to it, if you are putting weak material to it, the product is ultimately going to fail. Either it fails during manufacturing, like it is not fitting, for example, the designs are wrong, or it fails at the customer place, like after let's say it was not designed for that environment and it's not performing to that environment, or it's not taking that load, or it's not satisfying the user requirement. So the PLM holds the recipe, and it is the brain, and ERP is like a heart, which is utilizing the brain power. So they are equally important, and for any successful business, their integration and working together is very important. Lot of things we have shown is two different systems, but these are same data and it is flowing across the system. It's not duplicated. It's a tight integration, what makes it efficient. Yes, so coming back to the sales, how to increase sales. As I said, it's not enough to be very good at marketing or sales to sell a product. We have to have a very good product. And it's not important just to have a good product in the beginning. it's also important to sustain that quality over a period. So Henry Ford started Ford Motors and it was good, but is Ford Motors the number one company in the world, or is it Tesla, right? So it has to be sustained. You cannot guarantee that the first time your product is good, but it has to be maintained over a period of time. Technology is changing, user preferences is changing, user test is changing, user demands different way of buying, different way of interacting as a customer. So all these needs to be taken into consideration, and then that product can sell better in the market. So let's look at what are the typical stages in selling your product, whether it is a laptop or refrigerator or an aeroplane or a car, for example. It can be more or less different stages. So first stage is inquiry stage. I want to buy a laptop. I want to buy a refrigerator. Yes, I will go to internet. I will do some research, and then I will move on. Sometimes the product is complicated. You might get a quote if it's a machinery, heavy machinery, for example. Sometimes you don't get a quote, you directly buy. Then you build it, or you directly it's built and you deliver it. And then we go into the operating phase. It's basically you are using it and then you are retiring it. So we will see how PLM plays an important role in each of these stages to increase the sales. Let's go into detail on each of the phases. So first phase is the inquiry stage. What are we looking in the inquiry stage? Right? If I want to buy something, so I'm looking at variety. If I'm buying a car, maybe you are interested in four-wheel drive, two-wheel drive, or the color, or stereo system, or AC, or the tires, or whatever. So no single person or will have the same exactly same requirements, exactly same taste as the other person. That's the problem with the product companies to satisfy that those demands. So more the variety, better will be the chance that I am interested in your product, right? And what comes with that variety, it increases complexity. Uh, we need uh, we need to handle more data, more changes into the when we are making the product. So even if it a small change, there might be difficulties. I am looking at less price. Of course, no one want to overpay or yeah. So sometimes we have a strict budget also, right? So even the product is good, we are not ready to pay a very unreasonable price. So it has to justify the price, and lower the price, greater is the chance that I'm interested. Also, the experience of buying. Imagine now you are buying something like, for example, a laptop, and nowadays it's common to go into website online and make an order online, and it's shipped to your house, right? Yes, you can go to the shops. Yes, it is becoming lesser and lesser. So many things we are buying online. It's easy to compare online. It's easy to do the configurations online. Let's say I'm buying this laptop. I can choose what RAM I need. I can choose what memory and what power and how many inches I need. So going to shop manually doing these configurations is very difficult, right? So it's very easy for me sitting at the comfort of my home and doing that. And now we talk about the variety. So I tried to, this was sometimes back, but I tried to buy a laptop which was 15.6 inch, pretty much standard, and i7, that is pretty much standard. And only thing was special I did was 12 GB RAM, and I was reduced to only one choice, and that is only HP and V. So why Dell is not having a 12 GB laptop with this configuration? There is nothing special. The screen size, the memory, processor, everything is all standard. But I only get one choice as a customer. I was expecting I should get something from Dell or Lenovo or something, but yes. So that is the problem. Like as a customer, if I could get more variety, maybe Dell can sell here or Lenovo. Maybe they have introduced the model now. But what is the problem of having more variety is, yes, maybe for 12 GB RAM, they need different calculations. It's heating involved and CFD and configurations and all. So adding a configuration or adding more variety leads to problems or leads to more work in the design or engineering department. That's why we don't get all the variety in the market. It's just an example, but that is a typical problem. So when variety increases, the number of drawings, number of combinations increases, and it becomes increasingly difficult to manage and sell it and produce it. But PLM provides a lot of tools. For example, it provides product configurator, which helps to maintain these different configurations easily. And it also helps to kind of do the change management when we change. So on these models, 90%, 70%, 80% of the parts will be same. So some of the outer features might change, or some of the external factors may change and they may demand, but there is some common features and there is variability. So if we have a proper system to manage that, we can have more variants. So if you can today do 5 variants, it's easily you can do 50 varieties of it, and without increasing your designers 10 times, for example. So having a system helps. It's the same example as banking. So if we do paper and pen, and if we want to serve 50 customers, we can do. But if your customers increase to 5,000, then you need more staff. Otherwise, get a system. So it's same principle applies to PLM. If we have a proper system specialized to do that, then it's possible. Okay, how to reduce price? So what are the factors getting into the price calculations, right? So the price we are talking about, yes, you can of course have components, of course have materials, of course have their prices. So there is always a cost analysis done, and it's always done. But what is not done is cost of uh, developing the product, you know, cost of developing the product faster, cost of developing the product in different varieties. So there PLM comes into picture. So when we work in a non-system environment, there are a lot of inefficiencies in the team, let's say designers or employees. So they are spending a lot of time in finding correct data, or rework of data, or sending mails, or tracking what was done earlier, etc., etc. So a lot of that hours time can be utilized in product development. So they can do what they are best to do at, like for example, designers are best at doing designs, not data crunching or IT thing, for example. So if they are relieved of those unnecessary work, then they can put more efforts into product development, and we can get better variety. We can get a lot of less mistakes. It will be efficient for change management. We can easily get lot of managers, lot of middle level managers spend so much time in reporting and analytics, getting into Excel sheets, from designers the status, from suppliers the status, managing in Excel sheets the status of projects or status of deliveries, etc., etc. So all that can be saved and put into some quality quality work, and that will reduce the price, because then you are spending less and less efforts on non-value added activities. All that goes into the price. Third thing about the inquiry stage was the experience of buying. right? So if it's easy for me to buy something, configure something as I like, and order it, nothing like that, right? So same goes with other customers. I understand for complex machineries, medical devices, there could be a lot of factors that you need to go back to engineering, you need to go back to the R&D and get some confirmations from them whether this is possible or not possible. Many times there are common complaints that sales is selling something which is not ready, or then it's like we have to hurry up to confirm, and there are less margins or less profits, or there could be errors or delays. So an efficient coordination between engineering and sales and your selling tool, which is like the front end, you can it can be a website, it can be a tool on the website to configure the product, just like we can buy laptops, for example, and it is possible for complex products also. So this new generation, which is tomorrow's buyers, are not like used to waiting, getting the quote on email and comparing on papers, and that are the things of the past. I would like to have everything digitally online. I would be able to compare it and configure it. So that is a combination of your proper PLM system connected to proper sales system, connected to proper the front end sales system, and also connected to ERP system. So when as a customer I'm making a inquiry or on the laptop, on the website, basically then it's going into my sales system, and it is sending what is available for sales, what features are available. Is the 12 GB RAM available? Okay, yes. Is the capacity available or hard disk or whatever? And where is it coming from? Engineering. Engineering can predefine what is available and what can be made on order, etc. And it can say that okay, 12 GB is not available, but we can make it at some extra lead time here, right? So basically, all those systems can be set up so that it's for the end customer. You get the pricing, you get with the components, you get the features, and it's possible to maintain it. And also from this we can get how many demand is, where the demand is, who is configuring what, and that can be fed to engineering, saying that yes, red color is popular, or front drive is popular, or this GB RAM is popular, or we are getting more inquiries but we don't have anything there. So that is where the comfort can be done. Second stage was the quote stage. Again, we are on the same topic. Faster quote means this interaction between PLM and the sales and the ERP systems, and that can be possible. Sometimes we need technical documentations. So someone can say this is very easy when we are buying a laptop, but if I am buying a heavy machinery, I need a lot of technical documentation. And how can I get it so fast? So yes, it can be not so fast, but it can be arranged so that engineering can pre-publish those technical documentation. There could be possibility that we can auto-generate the technical specs if configured properly, calculations are done, etc., etc. So what is can be done can already be fed into the system, and whatever is required can put it into lead time. So it is possible to increase the uh, yeah uh, code time also faster. Then we have got the order, maybe we are building it. So what are the factors? So the most important factor is the correct recipe. So now it is like I am in I have got the order, I am in processing stage. Or for example, in case of laptops types, then it's without order, but it's in mass scale production. So imagine if there is a problem, there is a error, then it can be going into all products. And if that is not detected early, or not corrected early, or not tracked early, then it is propagating to customer and the cost will increase for that error. Again, change management. So there are changes continuously. Change can be like we have identified a problem, we need to change it, and it's always something like you have a recipe, you have started making it, but yes, you want to change it in the middle. It could be customer requirement, it could be internal requirement, it could be safety requirement, and then so much data is flowing, and how do we manage that? So for that we need a proper system that will handle the change management. Who changed, what changed, and which products it's going, and what is the impact, etc. Correct build information, collaboration between departments. So it's always there will be questions to designers, questions to other departments. This can be made, this cannot be made, this is not fitting, etc. So if it is properly documented, less time will be there instead of emails going forward and like that. So it's all collaboration tools, which mobility solutions, again, going into system and opening the BOM on desktop. Instead of that, if we can see the bill of material on iPad and move around in the factory to discuss something, that is easy, right? Going into meetings also. So a lot of data is handily available handy if this data is available. So if we have the data in system, then it's possible to display that data in any device, mobile device or iPad or tablets or any type of devices. So if we have it in different folders, on local folders or shared folders and different places, then it's not possible. So handling the effectivity again with the change management. So on the build stage also, it saves a lot of rework, it increases a lot of efficiency, and yes, that's the contribution of PLM. So again, at the delivery stage, now we maybe it's for heavy machinery or for example shipping or that type, not for refrigerator that someone is coming to your house. But again, for that type, we need faster documentation. Customer manuals can be unique for each ship or each machinery, for example. So we need a mechanism to derive those bill of materials, derive those chapters, derive those drawings, derive those images. And if that is within the PLM system, then if a change is made to the original drawing, that with a single click we can update the documentation also, or with a single click we can generate those chapters also. So a lot of manual time is saved here and it becomes faster. Again, we can create a as maintained BOM during the, or as built BOM during the commissioning, where we are doing the service or repairs. Your product is serving under guarantee warranty, and you want to see if it is 30-year life for that product, you want to service it. And again, times like Corona, if it is remote commissioning activities you need to do, you need a lot of those documentation, how to instructions online and in the system to share it. One of the advantage with PLM is you can work across the world, multi-sites or different sites can be accessing the same data, sharing data. We can put a lot of access rules as required, and it is possible to work remotely easily in the system as compared to traditional office environment with folders and shared drives, etc. Right. So now we are in the operating stage. So we have commissioned, we have sold, you are using that car or refrigerator or heavy machinery or medical device or aeroplane, whatever it is. Now, what is the role of PLM now? Again, so as I said, the product once sold will not be your number one product for entire life. It has to improve over time. So what we need is most important customer feedback. product feedback. We need to embed it into our design so that we continuously enhance the product. No product is best in release 1 or version 1. So all the time it's okay, it's a new idea, it's a new concept, new product, new variant, but there is always possibility to make it better and better. And that what to make better, what is important, what is priority, can be easily uh, get from the feedback, and that will lead to a lot of cross selling, upscaling, referrals, repeat orders if we are connected to the product. If we know that there is a time for maintenance, there is a easily the customer can contact you for spare parts, for example. So that is something. Let's say we have sold heavy machinery or an engine to a customer and we are not in contact. So after 5-10 years, they might be buying spare parts from somebody else. But if we are in touch with them, if we are proactive, we can send an email, hey, now we have a 5,000 hours service or 10,000 hours service, or you have this or you have that. Then we are connected. There is more chances that they are buying from the original equipment manufacturer. Piracy is a very big problem, and you can easily get pirate parts or cheaper parts, right? So that is one thing. Second thing is preventive maintenance. Again, for bigger machineries like ships or aeroplanes or even smaller products, it can be that we can utilize the technology like IoT and data analytics to get back the field data, analyze the product, and not only for that customer, the other customers or future customers will benefit, and it will help to increase quality and resale value and referral value. So it's an indirect increasing the sales value in that sense. So we can get the field data. We can say it was supposed to long for 2 years, but this part is failing, this compressor is failing, or this is hitting up or whatever. And then we can do the preventive measures. We can send updates, whatever we correct it, or and we can increase the life of that product, increase the customer satisfaction, and embed it into the product. So that is what Tesla is doing all the time. It is having a digital twin of each and every car and getting data and processing it and making it better and better. Again, it's a faster response. So service engineers can access live data and see newer versions, better collaboration with design engineers from field to the department, better visibility into the product. They can access the system. So even if it is remote, even if not network connected, they can. There are solutions that they can export some or work offline. So it adds value in the service stage. Um, right, and then we are at the last stage where it is retirement. So you might ask, okay, now we are disposing the product, then how are we supposed to increase its sales value here? Again, disposing the product also means we either replacing the product or buying something new. So there is always chance for resale here. And also, while there could be some requirements to dispose of that product, so we need maybe to trace back to see what material was used. Maybe that regulation did not exist 5 years back, 10 years back, 20 years back, and now there are regulations that we can't just throw it out. So if there is not a system, it will be very, very difficult to trace back. And if as a original equipment manufacturer or supplier of that product, if you can answer that question, it increases the credibility. And we can also refurbish parts. So that is also some of exchange pool and have a resale, yeah, attempt basically. So that will increase overall the value of the company product, and it will surely help to increase the sales. So this was what I wanted to cover, and if you have any questions, you can put in the Q&A section and I will be happy to answer it.
Okay,
Okay,
thank you,
thank you,
Mr. Angad.
Mr. Angad.
We'll just wait a
We'll
couple
just
of
wait a
minutes
couple of minutes.
to have everyone type in their questions.
Okay. Okay, so one question I see, why is PLM such a hard sell? Yes, PLM is hard to sell because it's hard to understand, it's complex, it's big, and unlike CAD or ERP, it's not absolutely must in the beginning. You can work without it when you are a small company or small scale, and the need arises when the complexity grows. It's also a big investment for the company. Software is not cheap, unfortunately. So, but there are now a lot of other online or cloud-based softwares which are more affordable and can be taken as a starting point. Right? Any other
Mm.
question?
Okay, there was another one. Uh, how do you relate PLM with digital transformation? And is cloud PLM the future?
Okay. So as I mentioned, like Ford was one of the largest automobile or best selling one time, but not today. And now Tesla has overcome every other with a huge margin. What's the difference? Not in the making and of the car, but it's the digital transformation. So it's lot of components there. They have digital twin, they are getting data feedback from the customers and they are implementing it. It's also new battery technology. No doubt it's a new technology, but implementing technology also with digital experience. Um, so PLM is complementing digital transformation or vice versa. And if both are worked in combination, then it can produce a lot of good results. As I mentioned, like you can have IoT feedback into engineering and have a better product. So it's a must these days to increase the user experience. Yes, we have one question.
We have question from Miss Rutuja. She would like to ask about the future of PLM and how it will help, how it will help the sales grow, how PLM and sales will grow with the future. I think future changes that might as it evolves, if I get it correctly.
Okay. PLM, I'm not sure I got that question, that how the PLM will grow. Maybe I take it like that because we have covered how we can increase the sales. So PLM is growing in the direction like, yes, it is more cloud based because yeah, native hosting is switching. We have all our, let's say, Outlook data, or it's more and more reliable to go on the cloud and access anytime, anywhere kind of. So that is one direction where PLM is growing, including digital transformation, AI, ML, or that technology, IoT technology into PLM. That is another area where PLM will be growing. And of course, any new technology there, it will be growing. And one thing would be like it would be more like CAD or ERP, like a must system. And then you have a digital transformation layer on top of it to utilize it all. Hope it answers your question.
Thank you, sir. There's another question. Uh, is PLM a cyclic industry like automobile?
Cyclic in the sense in the sales pattern, you would say, right? Like oil and gas industry, if it's up and down. I won't say no, because even in pandemic, the demand for PLM grew because companies which were not having PLM were not equipped for work from home because they had their data systems, processes, people working offline, silos, and not so organized. So those who already had PLM, it was easy for them to extend the logins or the clients and working from home, right? So having all the data in one system. So it's not cyclic, it's demand is continuously growing.
Okay, sir. And one last question, I think that most in the PLM industry faces, considering the initial user resistance to PLM, is why is the PLM software so costly? Why does it initial investment
Right.
come in
We
such
have seen the
costly?
components, how many components it has, and how complex is. We quickly can have different companies having different demands, and those have to be taken into the software, and that's why the software cost has increased. As I said, unfortunately, there should be some lighter versions, and there are some lighter versions in the market. But once we grow, then yes, we also need those features. I would say there should be some easy starting point to start with, less costly alternatives for small scale industries, and yeah, the bigger vendors should provide their software maybe at a starting rate to them. Yeah.
And okay, and in continuation to this, what would you say would be the best PLM software that in the market right now?
I would say the answer is what is the best software suited for you, because um, if we compare the top 4 or 5, you will not find much difference because the functionality required is coming from users and they are not different. It's different industries and yeah, flavors and all, but the software itself or functionality is not much different. It's not maybe 5%, 10% difference, and they catch up with each other. So there is no absolutely best software, but you need to assess what is your requirement, how big is your company, where do you focus, is it product development or manufacturing or service or this, what area, what integration you need, and there are what CAD softwares you need, and do you need integrations. So all those factors combined, you can say what is the best software suitable for me, and that can be a different answer for each customer.
Okay, okay, sir. I think this is with the questions today. So I would like to thank you for taking up this topic about how sales can be increased with adapting PLM in in your existing systems. I think this is the starting point for every for the PLM strategy itself. So uh, now I would like to thank everyone for taking the time to attend this webinar. We hope you found it informative and have enjoyed it. You will receive a recording link on your registered email. Please feel free to get in touch with me in case of any queries. My email ID is shreya.p@plmnordic.com. I will just type it in the message box for you all. And lastly, thank you again and stay healthy, stay safe.
Thank you. Bye bye.
Bye.